dear students. So today in this class we will continue our discussion regarding the first chapter, that is nutrition in plants. In previous class I have discussed about what is known by the nutrition and different modes of nutrition. You must remember that there are basically two types of nutrition, autotrophs and heterotrophs. And I also discussed about, though majorly plants are autotrophs, but there are some heterotrophic mode of plants also. I discussed about the saprophytes, insectivorous, symbionts and the parasitic plants. So the next part of our discussion in this chapter, that is the photosynthesis. I think you all have a very gross preliminary idea about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the term that has basically two parts. One is photo, another is synthesis. You know, photo means light and synthesis means building up. So it is a process that defines the building up mechanism with the help of light. So synthesis of what? Synthesis of food. Synthesis of, that is food. So this is photosynthesis. If you cultivate the term of photosynthesis, then this outcome you will see. From exam's point of view and from our knowledge, we have to know photosynthesis in a little bit of elaborative way. We need to know where the photosynthesis occurs, I mean the site of photosynthesis. Then the raw materials. Raw materials means which are the ingredients for photosynthesis is needed, and then obviously the reaction of photosynthesis. I mean how the carbohydrates has been made, and finally it will consider as a starch in case of plants, storage food product of plant. And afterwards, obviously, we must not consider out the factors that is affecting the process of photosynthesis. It can be some environmental factors, it can be some other factors like the quality of leaf and other factors will be there. So, if I write like this way, so there are main points of talking about photosynthesis. Just summing up, I am writing here. Let's see very and follow very minutely. First, the site in which place photosynthesis occurs. Photosynthesis occurs in the leaf of plant. But this is not enough to know. If leaf is the place of photosynthesis, then why the leaf has the most of the photosynthesis, I mean 90 to 95% occurs in leaves. So why this is the suitable place for photosynthesis? You have to know. You know that in a plant there is a cell organ named as plastic. Plastic is a cell organism that is present in plants, and among the plastic there is a type of plastic that is known as the chloroplast. What? Chloroplast. Chloroplast, plast for plastic, and chloro, that comes from chlorophyll. Now what is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is the main photosynthetic pigment of the plants. That is the chlorophyll. In this chlorophyll also there are many subtypes are present. Just like chlorophyll A, B, C, etc. But among them, chlorophyll A is most abundant in most of the plants actually. B, C and other types of chlorophyll, they little bit differ from their chemical structure. they are also found in some cyanobacteria and blue-green animals. Chlorophyll A is the most abundant. So where the photosynthesis occurs? In the leaf, there is a cell organelle, that is plastic. One type of plastic called the chloroplast, that means the chlorophyll containing plastic. In chloroplast, during the presence of chlorophyll pigment, the synthesis of food occurs. If you want to know more details, then in the chlorophyll, then in the chloroplast, if you see here the structure of chloroplast, suppose this is a chloroplast, it is a bilayer membrane, layer 1, layer 2, it's a bilayer cell organelle. In between them, there are some structures like this. These type of structures are present. These structures are known as grana. In singular, granum. They are present in the membrane of called what? Thylakoid. So in the thylakoid membrane there is grana or granum present. They also interconnected by each other like this way. So they are a quite complex structure. Without grana or granum, there are some species present in the chlorophyll, the chloroplast, that is called the matrix. Matrix means it is a, you can say, semi-solid type of structure that actually upholds the total structure inside the chloroplast. So this is about chloroplast, chlorophyll, which is helping in the photosynthesis process. So this is about the site. This is about what? This is about the site of photosynthesis. Let's move that. Till now we have known what is the site of photosynthesis. Now how they performs. Okay. So let's have a look. We know that in the light, in the sunlight, there are 7 colors. This is known as VGO. Among them, this VG and R. This is the series of visible portion of sunlight. This is the visible range of sunlight. Among the visible range, in the red portion, when the chloroplast absorbs the red light's wavelength, then the photosynthesis is at its best. I mean, it occurs best in the red light. What is the wavelength of red light? Relatively from 600 to 700 nanometers. This is the best light. This is the best wavelength of light, which makes photosynthesis much more better than others. And also in the blue-green, not green, remind me. In the blue-green, where the wavelength is from 450 grossly, from 450 to 550 relatively nanometer, in this wavelength also photosynthesis occurs quite good amount, but not like the previous one of 600 to 700. So it is the best wavelength for photosynthesis. So if there is a best, then obviously there is worst. So what is the worst in which wavelength of light photosynthesis occurs very less? You may get surprised by knowing the green light. That is relatively 550 nanometer. You may think that chlorophyll is green, the leaf is green. So why the green light is the worst wavelength of light for photosynthesis? But it happens, it occurs. And red light is the most prominent wavelength for the photosynthesis process. So this is about the wavelength, in which wavelength it has been occurred much more proficiently and much more in an increasing number or better. Okay. So let's move forward to our discussion. Now the raw materials. Raw materials. Obviously the carbon dioxide, then capillary water, then sunlight, obviously, because without the presence of sunlight the photosynthesis will not be possible. Then chlorophyll, the presence of CA, that is chlorophyll. Okay, so these are in the leaf chlorophyll. You can also write like this: in the leaf there is the presence of chlorophyll. They are the raw materials of the photosynthesis. In here, one point is most striking, that is the use of carbon dioxide. You know, by the respiration process, we, the animals, release the carbon dioxide, and they index the carbon dioxide in plants for their photosynthesis process and releases the oxygen. So the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in nature remains intact by this process. Okay, so this is also an important point. Talking points may not be directly related to photosynthesis, but we have to know. Okay, so this is about the raw materials of photosynthesis. Now moves to the next question, that is, what can be the reaction of photosynthesis? If there are raw materials, then obviously there should be a particular reaction. So what will be the reaction? Now the reaction of photosynthesis. Reaction this is the reaction of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide plus water. Water means the capillary water. Then makes it to carbohydrate and the oxygen get released. Carbohydrate in case of plants in the form of starch. They are present. So this is the reaction of photosynthesis. Sometimes in a very short question it comes, write down the reaction of photosynthesis, then you have to write this reaction of photosynthesis. Okay, so this is the reaction of photosynthesis. Now have a look at it. So I think it is clear. We are moving to the next but most important thing, that is, what are the factors that are affecting the photosynthesis process. Okay. Factors. There are obviously some factors they affect the photosynthesis process. One is the light intensity. Light intensity. Day wavelength, and the duration of day length. Duration of day length. Then the wind flow. Obviously temperature. So these are some external factors. photosynthesis process. There are some other factors also. That means the quality of the leaf. I mean the other factors like you can say surface area of leaf. Surface area of leaf and photosynthesis, that is proportional relationship. The concentration of chlorophyll, COH, that means concentration, in short form we can write it, concentration of chlorophyll also affects the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, so these are some factors that affects the photosynthesis process. So I think you have got a clear idea that what are the factors they affect the photosynthesis. Sometimes question from 2-3 marks can come that what are the factors do you consider that is affecting the photosynthesis process of the plant or the making of food process of the plant. So you have to write it point wise. Obviously try to write it point wise because it looks much more solid in perspective of giving answer, and it can bring some good impression of the examiner also. So try to write point wise, it will be better I think. Now, in this portion, another thing you have to remember that when the carbon dioxide is entering the leaf, there are some pores in the leaf present. It is called as stomata. Stomata is present in the leaf, that is the pores. Stomata pore also you can say pores of leaf. It is guarded by the guard cell. Guarded by guard cell. Just like the guards of our house or something, the guard cell's main function is to guard the stomata. Not only guarding, it is not only protecting the stomatal hair, it also maintains the amount of closure and the openness of the stomata. How much it will open, and how long it will open, and how long the time it will remain closed, or how more openly it will expose. This also depends by the guard cell. If you draw a simple structure of the position of guard cell in stomata, it is like this. In these two, are the guard cells. Both are the guard cells. And in between them, in this place, this is called the stomata. So this is the position of guard cell and stomata, and it depends, and the guard cell actually keep the looking of how far the stomata will open or close. So this is about guard cell and stomata. And how, but I mentioned earlier in the beginning of discussion that is leaf is the main place for photosynthesis. You can say above 95% of the plants, this is very true. But without the leaf, there are some modified stem. If they are green in color, they can do photosynthesis. And there are some other structures. This is exception in case in the nature. And roots bearing chlorophyll, they can do photosynthesis. Even we will get very much surprised of knowing that we know that animals cannot produce their own food. But there are some exceptions always in the nature. As for exception, there are some animals. though they are not considered as a higher classification, they are basically the protozoans, or you can say the cyanobacteria. They contain the chlorophyll, so they can do photosynthesis in some extent, but not as plants obviously. So these are some exceptions. So just for that I am also writing the exceptions. Exceptions, that means animals who photo, okay. Sometimes the question comes for objective type of question. A very good example is the cyanobacteria. Another example, cyanobacteria is from bacteria. If protozoan example is needed in any kind of exam or somewhat, then you can give that protozoa for photosynthesis. Another example, that is eukaryote. Euglena is a good example of photosynthetic protozoans. Chrysanthemum can be another example for the process. Okay. So these are some exceptions in the nature. Other than the plants, they can also able to do the photosynthesis process. So this was about the main photosynthesis and photosynthesis, what is needed to learn for you. One thing you know that how the materials has been supplied to the plants, that means you know about the xylem and phloems. Xylem and phloems are, so let me write it. There are two cells or tissues, they do the supply of water and nutrients in the plant. There are xylem, they carry the water, and phloem is there, they carry the nutrients. Not only water, xylem also carries the water plus the dissolved minerals that comes from the capillary action of the root. And after making of the food process, the food has been making, then phloem actually comes to action and they carries the nutrients to the other parts of the plant. So xylem and phloem you also have to remember. These questions are very important. Okay, and this for short answer you can remember. So that was it from this chapter, and the later part of the heterotrophic mode of nutrition in plant I already discussed. So this was about the photosynthesis and the transport a little bit I told you. So this is very important, and in this lecture I am just concluding